Hey guys, it's Miss Leventhal here. I'm back at you with another challenge for the week. This week's challenge, you're going to turn yourself into a superhero. Now, a couple things I thought about before I dove into this project. One, what kind of superhero would I be? Well, I kind of thought about what I like or love. So one thing I really like, you guys hear me talk all the time, I love cheeseburgers. So I made a superhero that delivers cheeseburgers to hungry people out there in the world. Another thing I thought about is what could I do to make this look like me? And you guys can probably tell I used some curly hair on this project. So think about something you could include to make this superhero look like you, and what could you do that would be good for people, good for the earth, or good for the world, animals included. So I had a lot of fun making my cheeseburger delivery superhero, and we're going to get started. So we'll get some supplies. I'll show you how to begin. Okay guys, I'm going to go over some steps with you. Right now you can kind of see up close my superhero puppet, and I'm going to show you all the details of how we're going to make this, and you can always make adjustments and make things yourself, add things that you'd like. So I had a lot of fun with mine, and the first thing we're going to do to get started to make this, put this to the side, is just a piece of copy paper and some tape. Now if you don't have tape, you can always use glue. So either one will work just fine. So the first thing we're going to do is make this nice and tall like a building, and we're going to fold over both of the sides just so they overlap slightly. And you're going to press down and crease. It's important to get a nice crease on your paper. So now these should be overlapped a little bit, enough where you could put a line of glue and hold it, or you can use some tape. I'm just going to use some tape, makes it go a little quicker. So just pull and tear to the side. I'm just going to tape all the way down in a row. You could do one long strip of tape. I'm not that good at making a big long strip and controlling it, so I'm just going to use small pieces of tape and line them up as I go. Put the tape to the side, and now we have our taped paper. What we're going to do now is flip this over so the tape side is on the bottom. And now what I want to do is fold this in half. So bend it over, line it up, the very top, and press and really crease that. Remember, you're in charge of that paper. Don't let it be in charge of you. Sometimes I use my scissors or a pencil or a pen to get those creases nice and sharp. Now I'm going to take the top of this, remember this is the tape side, I'm going to take the top of this and bend it backwards down to the bottom. And again, nice crisp lines. I'm going to turn this over. It's a little like origami. Do the same thing on the other side. Now what you've created is spaces for your hand and your thumb to make an opening. So this part would be the mouth, this would be the face. Down here you could either make that the bottom of something, or you could attach it like I did. For mine, you can see the back of this is not really used, so I made an attachment to have the body that I cut out with paper and I colored. So you could do either one. So the next step is to decide what you want to do for your face. So for my face, I added some eyes, had a little bit of fun. Remember, this is kind of cartoon-like, so it doesn't have to look exactly like you, but if you wear glasses or something like that, it might be fun to include those so it makes it look a little bit more like you. Okay, so now once you're done coloring in the face, you can start thinking about the body and the hair and the arms, legs, anything else that you want to include. And right now, just so you can see it, if I put my hands in the top and then my thumb in the bottom, opens up and you can kind of plan out what you're going to include. So if you don't want to take it any step further, you don't have to, but it could be fun to add some hair, a body down below. I'll show you how to get started on adding a body and what I did. So I just took another piece of paper. This is a thicker paper. It's a cardstock paper, but you can certainly just use a regular copy paper. This is just printer paper. And what I want to do is line this up and extend this paper so I can add a body and some legs like I did for my original one. Now, if you don't have a ruler, that's totally fine. Here's a little trick for you. If you have just a straight edge on a paper, this will help you out. So just line it up with the edge of this paper. So now how we're going to attach this piece, that trimmed up a little bit. How we're going to attach this piece is we're going to make a little tab so it connects and it stands out. So this puppet, you can see there is a little tab right here that's glued, and it lets this part of the body hang straight down. Otherwise, it would fold back. So I'll show you my little trick, what I did. A tab is just a little part of the paper that's folded backwards. And for this part, I do use glue, but you can certainly use tape on both sides. And I just do a line of glue. You do want a line of glue, thin line, very fine. So it spreads out. Use your finger to kind of spread that out. Then I glue this right down where it touches the chin. You want to hold that till it dries. 10 alligators, 1 alligator, 2 alligator, 3 alligator, all the way to 10. And then when it's dry, you can draw on this so we can make a neck, arms, body, and part of the legs. So I'm just going to start my neck. I'm going to make a little cape. Because after all, I am a cheeseburger superhero, delivering those cheeseburgers to people who are hungry. Okay guys, so I went ahead and made some ears, arms and hands, legs and shoes, and I added that cheeseburger that's going to be chomped up by me. So I went ahead and glued some of these just so you wouldn't have to sit here and watch me do the whole thing. But I am going to do this side so you can see what I did. So I just took white paper and cut it out and then colored just using colored pencil. We're going to glue these right behind. Oh, see that sticks there. Oh. Make sure you get it on the flap, not behind here. I almost made that mistake. And for the leg, a lot of glue comes out. I'm just going to use what I have a little extra. Put it on my shoe. Get the shoe glued. Notice too, you guys know how I love stripes. So I added some striped socks. Could color them too, but black and white looks pretty good. And now I'm going to add that cheeseburger in my mouth, because why not? Once that closes, once everything dries and that closes, you'll kind of reveal what's inside the mouth. So if you wanted to put a fun surprise, you totally could. The last thing I'm going to show you is what I did for the hair. Now all I did was take a bunch of black paper and cut strips. This is also called the fringe. If you want to do a bunch all at once, same size. Kind of looks like a fringe. You can just snip them off right there. And I actually took 3 at a time, so you don't have to do so many. If you have a lot of curly hair like I do, it can get kind of tedious. So I took 3 at a time, took a pencil, and rolled this around. This is called the curl technique, just like my curly hair. I'm going to undo that, and if you want tight curls, just leave it like this. Otherwise, put your pencil back in and make them curly, that's kind of stretch out a little bit. So all I did was on the inside of this flap, I used some glue, and I started putting the ends of the curls inside until those would glue and stay glued together. And then I started to add curls on the back side here. So not going inside, but actually going all the way down on the back side. So what I ended up with was a lot of curls attached to the back and then on the inside. And I still have room for my hand, my thumb, and you can see the body's attached. That's where I added that little flap, the little tab, and I can open and close just by opening and closing my hand. Okay, makes kind of a fun puppet. There's my superhero puppet. I hope you guys have a ton of fun with your superhero.